it's Michael McGarrahan.
Yo, it's Brendan Mascherino.
Yo, it's Cameron Furiosa Crawford.
And it's Mason Coburn. What's up?
Yo. All right. We got a packed episode today, to say the least. We are celebrating a 5th anniversary of a certain Mad Max film, and Tenet dropped a trailer, and there are some stories, so let's just get straight into it. Who's got a story for us?
I have a little, I guess, sort of like a news topic sort of thing. I got word, I'm a big fan of the Joe Rogan podcast, and rumor has it Spotify gave him like $500 million to sign with them, and they're putting his podcast on Spotify with video now. So he's completely like leaving YouTube. Like all of his work will stay up there, I'm pretty sure, but he's taking like from now on or whenever his contract starts, he's being paid to just upload to Spotify, and it's pretty crazy.
Wow.
500 million?
500 million?
That's really crazy, man. Wow.
I gotta fact check that. That is.
You get on that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, this other podcast guy was like reviewing it. Like some people said 100 million, and then there's an article that says 500 million. I'm like, what the frick?
Wow.
That's crazy. Isn't there like, I know on Spotify, aren't there like background videos that play sometimes like during a song? Like, is it going to be like just like a player of a video, or is like there going to be something made more like that where it's like just kind of embedded?
Dang.
You know?
All right, so it says on our sources, The Guardian, nearly 200 million. That's ridiculous still. That's red. Imagine what you could do with 200 million.
Yeah, wow.
Make Mad Max Fury Road. There you go.
Oh, that's...
Yeah, I don't really know. I guess he's like, obviously he says yes because YouTube's not paying him that much. And
it makes quite a bit from ad revenue, though.
Yeah, he does. He probably makes a butt ton with that, but I'm saying he's probably like, I don't even have to worry about where my fans are, like, because he's so famous now in that area. He's literally like the podcast to listen to that everyone knows about. And I think even if he moved to Vimeo and they offered him a butt ton of money, he would still go there, even though his fan base isn't there, just because he's getting all that money. But it's pretty nuts.
See, maybe we should try and work a contract with.
I just got an email from Disney Plus. They want no, I'm kidding. They want Tamco to be on. No, I'm kidding. Dude, I would just be like, no.
Speaking of like exclusives and stuff, did you see the regular show creator has a HBO Max show coming in July?
Wait, JG Quintel?
Wow. Yeah.
Wait, he does really?
Show. I might have to do a month of HBO Max just to watch that show.
Wait, you mean like, is it like animation or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Dude, character design looks the exact same as regular show.
I love that character design, man. It's so good.
But speaking of HBO Max, Mason, what are your thoughts on the new Snyder Cut?
Wait, what?
You heard about the Snyder Cut, right?
Oh,
you know what the Snyder Cut is, though, right?
no, I have no idea.
Oh, what? All right, so I guess it's a full explanation for everyone. If you don't know, Justice League came out in, what was it, 2018?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it was not a good movie. But so Justice League came out, Zack Snyder was directing it, and then he dropped out for family reasons, and Joss Whedon took over, and all the fans hated it. They're like, oh my gosh, this is too bright, this is too colorful. I mean, that's not the sole reasons why that movie sucks, but we'll leave it at that for now. And all these fans are like, I can't believe this is the movie they made. Release the Snyder Cut, as if Snyder had an actual cut. So for the past, 2 years, they've been, petitioning for a Snyder Cut. And then just a few weeks ago, when we thought that it was just a meme, because over the internet, everyone just kept on making it a meme, when we thought it was a meme, HBO Max and Zack Snyder drop a tweet saying the Snyder Cut is releasing next year. And all the people are, oh my God. And people are like burning their theatrical cuts of Justice League and whatnot, which is so stupid because I don't know why they would do that, but that's for another topic for another time. But yeah, the Snyder Cut is coming out next year, and I still think the movie's going to be ass.
I never saw
Oh my-
I never saw Justice League, so I don't know. I have no idea.
Lucky man, I won't recommend it. All right. Who else got a story?
All right, so we're talking about cars today, right? So I got a story about shooting cars in motion. So, you know, because they've done a lot of crazy things with Mad Max. So just got to bring something personal up. So some of you have probably heard this story, but my good friend Aiden and I were shooting this short film called Untarnished, and we were shooting this Porsche 911. And so we were like, oh, we got to be very careful with this car. It looks pretty sexy, you know, we got to keep it that way. So we're shooting on these like suburban back roads, forest line, very pretty street. Not many people, and we're sort of depending on that for this shot. And we can't really get a good profile shot of him driving. So we're like, what if we, you know, put him in the right lane? We went in the left lane. So we're taking up the entire road. What if we did this and just drove down the road like that? We were like, all right. And so we put Aiden, we open the sunroof up of my Honda Accord. We stick him through the sunroof. So torso out, and he's just kind of standing on the, you know, the armrest on the, in the front seat. And so he's like halfway through there and got the camera. And so we start going, we're going maybe like 20, we maybe push it up to like 30 just so we get the actual speed since he's supposed to be speeding. And we're like, all right, this is like a little bit sketchy because we're coming to a turn and we're taking up the entire road. So maybe this isn't the greatest idea. So we decide, okay, it's looking good, but we'll just drop back. So I pull out and then go back behind the car. As soon as we do that, someone comes around the corner going like 60 miles an hour, almost hits our driver who's in the correct lane. He swerves around. And so basically it would have been game over if we'd stayed in that lane. So just a word to the wise, be careful when you're doing car stuff.
Yeah.
Wow. I appreciate the commitment for the shot. That's really cool that you guys were willing to do that. I mean, like, even though it is scary to hear, but dude, that's scary.
It was the only option. You got to do what you got to do, but
You gotta
it was
do.
a little risky.
Did you guys get the shot?
Yeah. It's like, it doesn't even look that crazy, but it's on like a 50 mil. So we had to be kind of far away, but it looks like, you know, it's just like we could have had it mounted like right outside the window, but
Wow.
obviously we didn't have the resources to do that.
That's really crazy, man.
Yeah.
Real filmmaking at its finest.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Good thing you have that. I had that sixth sense. Like maybe we should fall back.
I think it was just common sense, but yeah. Something like that.
That's crazy.
Oh, that's crazy.
We can have both lanes. Wow. We need to see BTS of that. I'm sure it doesn't exist, right? You guys are probably too focused on just living.
Yeah, we have like the full clip somewhere though, so we can show him getting up there and stuff. But we didn't have another camera, unfortunately.
We could fake the BTS as a crazy stunt in which we have someone drive around the corner at 60 miles per hour
That would be
straight
crazy.
after you leave the lane.
I'm down. Let's do it.
Well,
No, I hear word on the street is you have a story about a nurse.
Oh, yeah, say less. All right, so this is back in New York, so you already know the crazies are out. You know, so me and my gang, we're walking down to a harbor, and the sun is going down, like sun is setting, so it's starting to get dark outside. It's really nice, beautiful day, and we're walking. All right, so let me ask you: have you ever seen those movies in which people wear the faces of their skinned victims? Have you ever seen that type of shit?
Yeah.
Why do you ask?
Well, so we're walking, all right, and there's this person dressed up as a nurse, and we're like, oh, they're a little bigger, but they're dressed up as a nurse, all right. I look at that person's face and it looks like they're wearing the mask of like a skinned victim and they're just standing there like not doing anything and I'm like, what the fuck? And there was like this man dressed up in a nurse costume and he had like a face of a skinned victim and it was like a lady's nurse costume. And so we're walking, we're like, don't make eye contact. Dude turns right at us and takes like 2 steps towards something. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out of here. That shit was so scary, bruh. You don't want to mess with skin face nurse women or men. I don't know what this person was, but it was terrifying.
Dude.
Was that in New York?
Yeah.
Where are we talking about here? Set the scene.
All right. So we're in Lower Manhattan. All right. You know, there's a nice little harbor off the side in which we were walking towards, and you could see the sun setting, and it was a beautiful sight as we were walking. But then the sun was setting a little too much, and now you could only see silhouettes and shadows and shit, and you could see the details of the light emitted on the skinned face of a victim on this person's face. She was terrifying, man. It was like, if you've seen Midsommar, it was like the one dude in that. If you know what I'm
It
talking
was
about.
like, yeah, I forgot to mention, we were actually walking away from the movie theater after we just watched Midsommar, and I was a little scared.
Having visions.
And yeah, that was actually I saw Midsommar in theaters just like 4 days before that incident, so it was petrifying to say the least.
Oh yeah, it just makes it worse.
Yeah.
This guy's deal was.
I don't know, man, but as soon as they took 1 step towards us, it was game over.
Wow.
Does anyone have any stories, or are we moving on to topic number 2?
I guess I got a little thing I could say.
Oh,
Too crazy, but basically, here's a little plug for some fun too. If you haven't been tubing before down a river, it's fun as crap. It's really good. And my brother bought 6 tubes, and they got like backrests and stuff. They're really nice. Basically, we were going down by like
You went?
bridge. Yeah, yesterday afternoon. Me, Brad, and TK went, and we
Oh,
were like, we did is like you use 2 cars, like so. We like I was with my brothers, so like we just drove, parked 1 car. You both drive to your end destination. Then you all get in 1 car and go into the start point. And then, by the way, then you'll end at the. So it's like you got car. You'll finish here, all drive together, and then be out of town. You're good. But it was funny. Like it's kind of weird to process it in the moment. You like don't really understand like how the whole car thing works. But like in that bigger picture, it makes sense. And then like, but we're riding down like, and we made it like halfway, kind of through the river. And all of a sudden, my brother's like, my car's parked at our destination, and Brad's like, "Where are your keys, Michael?" And I was like, "Wait, what do you mean?" He's like, "Where are your keys?" And I was like, "They're in your car," which is like where we started. So like basically, like my mind couldn't process like, oh, that we would need the keys. Like I would need to have the keys with me too, and also they're electronic keys too. So I was thinking like I don't want to like bring them in the water because like it's gonna get screwed up and not work. But I just had to like get out and like run all the way back to the car and then run to the thing. So and run back to us. So it was pretty funny. But yeah, we like ran into a lot of spiders and stuff and like saw like a little squirrel. It was a fun trip. But man, yeah, it was some disappointing, stupid moments there. But yeah, just always remember bring your keys if you're at the end.
keys. Good lesson. Michael, did you see movie at the drive-in? Was it yesterday?
Oh yeah, I went and saw Knives Out at a drive-in movie theater yesterday. So it was pretty neat experience. Yeah.
How did the sound work?
So the way sound worked is they had they referred to it as a low frequency FM transmitter up near the screen kinda, and they would play the sound over a certain frequency, you know, so it happened to be 91.3. So we just like, you know, just tune the radio of your car, or you could bring, like what I did, I brought a separate radio so you don't drain the battery of your car, and then you just play the sound through there and it works. It was pretty clean. It would when it got like too loud, it would kind of like, you know, clip a little bit, but it wasn't anything unbearable, and it was a really neat experience. So very cool stuff. Because I think in the past, like what you do, you drive up and it would have like the little station like with the speaker built in, but like the place it was just like an open field kind of thing. So they don't have those installed, but it's neat. You could order food on your phone and they bring it to you. If you want to do that, it's in like Boyerstown, which is like 35 minutes away from here. It's where it was. So, but it's like $20 per car. So it's a pretty cool thing. Like if you want to invest in it. I think might try to go. I think they're doing like 80s next weekend. So like Back to the Future.
Yeah, Back to the Future sold out.
Oh, it is already? Jeez, yeah, Knives Out was sold out. So yeah, I think people are catching on to it and buying tickets. But yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
So, no, it exists, and it's called this. If you want to look it up, it's the State Theater in Boyerstown. So just the state of Pennsylvania theater. So yeah, cool stuff.
Well, yeah. Speaking of theaters, if that's
Two theaters.
Coming to
coming to theaters, yes, sir. A trailer for a little movie called Tenet dropped. You've probably heard me talk about this movie maybe a million times on this cast so far, but the trailer dropped. What did y'all think?
It was jaw dropping.
To say the least. Bro, that shit was mind blowing. I am too excited.
Typically I feel like reversed shots don't really look good, but there's something about like that opening water like
Oh yeah,
flowing backwards. I'm like, oh, every time it's too nice.
it's crazy. And just the idea of how they're doing the choreography with half in reverse and half like going forward, that my mind cannot comprehend.
It's crazy. Like I remember specifically the one shot where they're like kind of close fighting, if you will, and then the guy like reaches back, like the main character, and then the gun like flies into his hand like right at the end. Like it's some crazy looking stuff.
It's insane. It's gonna be the movie going event of the century. Actually, Dune might have that one, to be honest, but I'm very excited. So I've seen the trailer over 10 times now, and a few things that I want to talk about is, one, I know that one of the big criticisms of Nolan's films, at least for Inception specifically, is that they're too heavy on exposition. And my counter to that is the fact that unlike most films where there's heavy like spoken exposition, the thing about Nolan films are that the concepts they're talking about are usually so interesting that I don't mind listening to them speak about it for like 20 minutes. And it looks like Tenet's going to have like if people aren't a fan of Nolan movies and Inception, it looks like Tenet's going to be more of the same, like set up with a lot of explaining of these crazy concepts and then executing it to masterful degrees.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely seems like that even in the trailer, like with that lady kind of explaining the stuff. But like I agree with you, Moo, honestly. Like I think that's almost part of the movie is that it's bringing you into something that you don't know about, and you're gonna like learn about it. So I think that's really cool. That I think that would be good. That would be fun to learn about, because like personally, I'm watching the trailer. I'm like, yo, tell me more about this freaking already happened stuff. Like I'm like I want to hear more about this, even if it was just like someone talking like 20 minutes about it.
It's gonna be crazy, man. And also that plane at the end was a real plane. They crashed into a building, of course, in classic Nolan fashion.
Wow.
I did the budget for a plane and a building to just destroy.
Yeah, I mean, this movie is I think $205 million budget, which is mind blowing for an original film. Like no one other than Nolan could get that.
True.
How does he get the means for that?
Because his movies make money, man.
Or whoever the hell.
Yeah, he's probably, him and Tarantino are the only directors that can sell a movie off their name alone.
That's true.
Like even though Scorsese's more of a legend than the two, you see how difficult it is for him to get movies funded. Like Silence made nothing, even though that movie is. Yeah, so Nolan can rake in the big bucks.
And it's crazy, like you were saying earlier, like Moo was telling me how it's funny, like literally his frames from his previous movies are literally in the trailer for his new movie. Like it's like they show like Dark Knight and like Inception, and so it's like from the person. It's like literally showing the frames of the other ones. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, instead of advertising for the actors and stuff, they're literally using Nolan as the driving force of their marketing. That's when you know he's on some next level shit.
Awesome.
He's a master. I don't care what anyone says, even if I come across as a Nolan fanboy, which I'm proudly am. But
Oh, yeah, Michael, isn't Nolan your go-to?
Oh yeah, I'm a pretty big fan too, especially like with. I'm sure you've heard me say The Prestige. I like absolutely adore that movie. So, yeah, so he's up there for me. But yeah,
I feel like I don't really have a go-to as of right now.
I don't have like, I wouldn't say a go-to, but like my favorite working now is Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah.
His movies. His next movie is supposed to be set in the 70s high school time. Bro, Paul Thomas Anderson's Dazed and Confused? Come on now.
wow,
Crazy.
that'll be good.
Soundtrack better be good. No, it will be.
Will be.
You better get Johnny Greenwood on that. But no, he wouldn't. He probably wouldn't. 70s
Yeah.
music on.
Nah, I guarantee you Johnny Greenwood will probably be in there somewhere, but they're definitely going to have some soundtrack stuff like
Yeah.
Boogie Nights.
Everyone gangsta till Matt walks in during Boogie Nights.
Oh, chill. I thought you were talking about like something in the movie, like and that.
Oh yeah, what y'all think of the music in this trailer? It looks
Oh yeah.
exciting, man, because even though it is unfortunate that Hans Zimmer's not doing the score as he's doing Dune, which is not unfortunate now that we think about it, but I feel like any composer that has the opportunity to work with Nolan, considering he only uses Zimmer, is probably going to take that opportunity and do the most mind-blowing thing that composer will do in their young career in order to please Nolan.
And live up to that, the legacy.
Everything Hans Zimmer does with Nolan is straight masterful.
Yeah. What's up, Carl?
What Cam?
I just said the master.
Oh,
Oh,
Oh, don't get me talking about that movie. It's too good.
I keep thinking about Burning a lot.
Very good.
I just whenever I think of movies now, I always remember that, and I really just want to watch it again to
Right?
refresh my mind. Yeah.
It
Nice.
sticks with you, man.
Right?
Yeah.
And on burning.
I keep thinking about Heat, bro. I keep thinking. Oh, yeah.
I keep thinking about Mad Max Fury Road.
Okay, what a segue.
Segway.
Oh, good stuff. Mason, why don't you introduce this one?
All right. So, boys, you know what we're dealing with today. This is a 2015 Australian film called Mad Max Fury Road. I saw this in theaters when it came out. It was a life-changing experience, to say the least. And I adore this movie. I absolutely love it.
Mhm.
That's wonderful, Mason.
I think you can already call it a classic.
Absolutely. I would not argue with that.
So what did you boys think? First time watching.
Man, what a freaking roller coaster this movie is. Without roller coaster that only goes flat. But man, I think it was really good. I think it was awesome. Like I the whole time, it was hard for me almost even to be like sometimes sucked into the story because I'm constantly like trying to think, how is this possible that they shot this? Like, how is it legal that this was made? Like, I don't understand like how this stuff was physically brought to screen, especially like Brad came over and he saw it. He was like, "Oh, it's a classic. It's amazing." And he's like, you know, like most of the stuff is like practical. Like those polecat guys are like actually doing that stuff. And I'm like, I don't know, it just freaking blew my mind. But I really liked it a lot. What move?
80% of the effects are practical.
That's insane. I remember right in the beginning, I was thinking like either it's like insanely good visual effects going on, or like most of the stuff is literally real. But I loved it, and like just a big overall thing. Like I love the look. Like they went crazy with the colors. So it's like the orange and then the blue at night. Like it's just really good stuff. Like right from the beginning. Like I've never seen a movie that's like this like true with like an environment. I mean, like like that's just like it's like real, but it's just so like dirty in a great way. But yeah, so I really did like it a lot.
Anyone else get like mad Rango vibes?
Yes.
The water, man.
The water, man. I was like, yeah.
And I was like, especially when they have like the high, like the canyons with the guys all standing with their weapons on the top, and you're just like looking up at them. I was like, holy crap, this is some Rango stuff right here.
Yeah, I thought that.
Yeah, I feel the same way, I think, with Michael. I really dug it, and a lot of the time I found myself like caught up in trying to think about how the heck is it pulled off, and I really like how it was pulled off, and I love the cinematography, and I love the action. Some of the choreography is just nuts, and I can't even process how that stuff works. But yeah, I found myself, I guess, kind of like confused at some points in the story, but it comes together after you watch it, and it's definitely something you want to rewatch because there's a lot to take in. But I really appreciate all that was done with it.
Yeah, for me, I'm thinking this movie is insane, just non-stop action, and it doesn't try to be anything fancy besides that. Just like it is what it is, just like amazing, great action the whole time. And I was especially impressed just as soon as the movie started up into that like little title, Mad Max Fury Road. It was just the craziest thing I've ever seen, where he's trying to escape.
Yeah.
Some really great stuff. Like Michael was saying, the orange, that was really great.
Orange, right? Okay.
I thought it was hilarious how they had this huge cavalry of cars or trucks, whatever, and then on top of the one truck, you just have this guy playing these electric guitar.
Yeah, I love that so much. Yeah.
And all the cars, like they started building them like in the early 2000s or something, and they're all like completely functional, and like their production design is just ridiculous. Like
Wow.
details put into these things. They're like, yeah, we tried to convey like this culture of the wasteland and like putting in these, little intricacies, and it's just so impressive.
It really is.
The movie was I'm pretty sure it was supposed to start shooting in 2003. And then after 9/11 happened, they couldn't get the planes to transport all the vehicles and whatnot. So they had to push back the shooting. And then it kept on running into production problems until there was one time where they were all ready to shoot, but then it rained in the desert and it became like a Greenland. So they had to scrap shooting and wait another few years. And then they finally got the movie made. And like, even though like the actors all were like, though the conditions were terrible and we were like sweating balls in this 120-degree weather and all this dirt everywhere, the end result speaks for itself. I mean,
yeah.
Was that girl actually pregnant, by the way?
No, definitely. I'm almost.
I'd assume not.
Yeah.
It just looked like way too real. So I was like, wait, how is that like fake?
I thought that too, yeah. But I guess like the makeup, considering like the other makeup and stuff on people's face, I wouldn't be surprised if they could just put a pound of flesh, like a few pounds of flesh on there and like make it look really good. Like,
or they had a stomach, someone just come in that was pregnant and stand for that one shot.
Yeah, I really like the makeup and costume design they did with, I guess it would be the antagonists, the bald boys.
Oh yeah, the War Boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got some MCM vibes.
Oh yeah. That is, yeah, you're right. Also, wait, this spray in the mouth thing is so whack. Like,
yeah.
What is, dude? What if I know? Like, it seems like they did it every time they were about to like do something crazy. But like, do you guys know anything else about like why they would like cover their mouth and that stuff?
Spray their mouths like
Enlightenment, I think.
It's a pre-sacrificial ritual, like because that's when they're intending to die. But
yeah, exactly.
He was saved by his true purpose.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Yeah, it reminded me of like just that kind of idea. I'm trying, like, I don't know, I forget what the name is, like with like, like with just like ninjas and their whole kind of deal with like, you know, dying, like, you know, never surrender, like that kind of stuff. Like it's just crazy. So no, ninjas, what the frick, samurais. Oh my god. Yeah, but like that kind of deal, like with that whole, like you like they'll die for their like purpose or whatever, and if that means like trying to kill someone else, like so.
Oh, terrorists? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, well, I guess no.
But in that sense, like it has this very like crazy new religious vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone's following this like
Yeah.
cult-esque, like
It's so weird. Like,
with Immortan Joe, and I think it adds so much like it adds this weird atmosphere and culture to the movie that it just all works.
Yeah.
Going off that one scene when Nux gets Immortan Joe to look at him, and he's like, "Oh, he looked at me.
Yeah.
Like, that was just like perfect. I love it so much.
Yeah.
It just, like, everyone's just fighting for his respect, and it's like he actually has no regard for any of these people. And then when he messes up with the gun, and you know he falls and loses the gun, he's just like, "Oh, fuck that guy!" Like,
Mediocre.
yeah.
Yeah, I heard that word a bunch of times, like the mediocre thing. Yeah.
Oh man, this movie just fully commits to being on like full blast nonstop.
Yeah.
As Croft was saying, it does not act like it's anything other than a full blast, crazy action thrill ride. And we can't talk about those stunts enough. Some of that shit is actually mind blowing. I'm watching like people jumping out of cars and shit, and I'm like, this is what heaven looks like in the action cinema world. Simple as that. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't get better than this.
It's so crazy, the element of the, even if you know they can obviously, because of the open plane, I feel like there's a lot of room to be able to fake it, if you will. I feel like the idea that it's like they didn't travel like actually 4 miles like while they're fighting, but like just that added element of like the motion on top, like these are like more, I feel like these stunts would be insane if they were stationary, and then put it in like 100 miles per hour, like, or whatever, you know, and then it's like I so hard to comprehend that kind of stuff that's going on, that they're like, and that make it look so good that it's moving. And like I know there were some like low angle shots, like you think like, oh, maybe they could have like had it been stationary, you know, for that kind of stuff, but then they have those shots where it's clearly like that stuff is in freaking motion. Also, I love the use, like whenever they would go to like a wide shot too, I kept like longing for that to like they would get you in real close, and then when they would go wide, it'd be like so satisfying in a way where like you see like there's like 20, like 30 like motor vehicles just like trucking, and like it looks so cool. I remember there was one also, like I think it might have been like kind of a calmer setting, but like there was like a silhouette shot like towards the night of like the big, like the war rig that they had, and it just looks so cool. Like it just makes it feel so real. Like when you like step back, it's like, wow. So
is this guy real?
ooh.
That's something I don't know.
I don't even want to look it up, honestly. Like I feel like
Anyways,
Oh, what was that, Brendan?
here, you can go. I gotta process what I was just about to say. So
Like, it's such a feat in visual storytelling that this movie has such little dialogue, and they tell everything just through the edit. Like the editing did this win best editing? Because if it didn't, it should.
It did.
The editing is ridiculous. Like even the use of jump cuts and stuff, like it adds so much intensity. And oh my gosh, it's crazy.
And like the speed manipulation, and like I'm pretty sure they removed frames too. Like when he's like, you know, looking back and forth in the
wow.
trying to escape, like he does that little head swivel. Like there's just like, it feels like so like fragmented and jarring. It's just like, oh, claustrophobia.
Yeah, seriously. I didn't mean to cut you off, Mason, but I was gonna ask about that. Like in the beginning, so I was watching this like using like, I had like my computer going with HDMI to TV, and I thought in the beginning, like when he was trying to escape, like when they first get like Max, I thought that maybe like it was like kind of some like latency stuff going on, but like I realized like that's probably intentional, and like you're saying, Mason, like the frame dropping kind of stuff and like making it look all jarring, because I thought it was really neat how they did that. I was like, holy crap! Like it looks like it looks like they messed like with the shutter angle a lot too. Like it was like way higher at that spot. I noticed for some shots there was like more motion blur, specifically when like when like the main, I forget what the main guy, like Immortal whatever, like his
Yo.
yeah, when he goes and like sees that one like lady standing with all like I guess the words, it's like, hey, like we're humans, whatever. And he like grabs her, it's like kind of all blurry right there. So yeah, neat manipulation going on.
I don't know how I really felt about the it almost felt like there's huge action scenes and then it would kind of slow down a little bit and it would like dive into some dialogue and then it would fade out and then come back in a new scene, and I don't really know how I felt about that entirely because I've never really seen it done like that before. It's almost like they left room for like commercials to play. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, there were some quick
Like,
fade outs that seemed a
I was
little.
like, oh, okay. That's a new like thing that I've never seen before, but I didn't like dislike it. And I think it's like a lot of people are like used to seeing like stuff like that on TV anyways. But I thought that was unique, and I did like the editing a lot, but that was just one thing that I was like skeptical about. I was like, wait, what the heck? I don't know. I don't really know how that. It didn't feel like it really fit in in that in the kind of movie that it was going at and the pace that it was going at.
Yeah, I think those like slowed down scenes and like the fade outs, I think it's a good like small breather, if you will, like just so it's not going so full blast that like it gets overwhelming. I felt like it gave a second to calm down before the next top tier grade A action scene just blasted us in the face. So in
Yeah.
that regard, I felt like I was able to catch my breath. I'm like, oh shit, not again. Damn.
Yeah. I also wish we got a little more background about like Max and the other girl that like has the black on her like forehead.
Period.
Yeah, I wish we had like more background about her and him because especially Max, like he kept having those like flashbacks to see that little girl and I'm like, I want to know more about that. Like I know the movie was only like 2 hours long, so even if it was like 15 minutes longer to show like what the heck happened there, I would appreciate that. But maybe it was left on, I guess it was obviously left intentionally to not really shine light on that a lot because they probably want you to like wonder, or it's just not important really.
Well, I think that has to do with the fact that this is the fourth movie in the franchise.
Tell him, tell him.
I
Yeah,
was gonna ask about that, like, because
I did not know that. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, this is the fourth film, so like there's a lot you learn about Max in like the first stuff. Because the first one's like a pure revenge movie with the death of, I'm pretty sure it's his daughter, right?
It's been a while, but yeah, some
Some
family drama. There's family
got killed, and that's what the first one was based on. This like
Ah,
nice small scale revenge story.
so it's almost like an Avengers type of movie where it's like if you didn't see like the first one, there's a lot of characters that you're left like questioning like what their background is.
It's like it's one of those things where it works as a standalone movie completely. It's just that if you want a little bit more to the whole like Max character, you can get it in the first three, but
Hmm.
and I'd highly recommend them, even though I haven't seen the first one and Beyond the Thunderdome in ages. Like Road Warrior's a great action film, and they're definitely worth checking out. But I think they still handle it quite well. The fact that it gives you enough about the character for you to care about him, but it doesn't bog you down with immense amounts of exposition because it's just full blasting it as.
Mhm. Yeah, I did not know that. I was watching. I was like, I feel like I just like skipped like an hour into the movie and started watching it. But I really like it. I think it stands alone perfectly fine. And I just there's some little things that I could go back and just probably learn a lot more about like the backgrounds and appreciate it more.
Mhm.
I wanted to mention.
So
Oh, what move?
oh no, you go.
Oh no, you go ahead. Go ahead first. Yeah.
Oh no, please,
Oh,
please.
all right, fine. I just want to say, I don't know if we really talked about like in detail too much, but just the opening scene alone. I know Cam, I think you said it's like you like how it kind of throws you in, but like, oh shoot, oh gosh, yo, you guys are all frozen right now. What is going on?
Nobody. Oh no.
Oh, he's back.
back.
He's back.
All right, did I just like? Oh gosh, it says my interconnection is unstable. You guys just froze on my screen for like 20 seconds. That was scary. Wait, did I just freeze?
Yes.
Oh, okay. But you see me now, right?
All good.
Rose, you live again.
Oh, nice. Oh yeah, I live again. Yeah, I was gonna say the opening scene is like so cool, like with the like how fast like he gets like that car set up and like the way it's like edited. Like it reminded me of like Edgar Wright kind of stuff in the sense of like with those like quick cuts
The
and
quick
like motions and stuff. But yeah, I thought it was really neat, especially like the idea of like having it hold with him driving away and just it's neat. Like they didn't even like fade. It's almost like they could have like it maybe like realistically you would have heard the cars behind like earlier, but they chose to have it be like so abrupt, just like woof, like right over, like it looks so dope. So
through the rear speakers to the front, like
yeah,
don't even get us started on the sound.
I was just
Oh,
about to
yeah.
talk about sound.
nice.
Oh man, dude, when those drums start going and we're panning around, dude, the guy with the guitar, like, dude, every like little, push the accelerator, like the throttle, everything is just perfect. It's just beautiful. I listened to it with surround sound. It was phenomenal.
Yeah. Usually this never happens, even though I always watch movies at like full blast in my basement. But my dad literally came down and he's like, "Bro, I can't even hear what's in my call because it's so loud." Because unlike most movies, the whole movie is an action scene, so you're getting all the bass and everything nonstop. And even though you're getting everything at nonstop, some sounds still like go like, whoa, like you're taken back by every sound that's happening through the action scenes.
Dude, the spears and like the saws that are coming to cut the dude, every like little device just has its own like personality. And when the war rig they hit the nitro, you hear that like whirring, like
Oh my
so
gosh,
sad.
the freaking gasoline spitting into
Dude,
the.
oh, it's so
That's
good.
insane.
Is that practical? No.
But it's crazy in the sense that like there's these huge action scenes, but they're all like filmed in a way where there's such a clear story beat going in every single moment of the action.
Mhm.
Like that whole scene with like racing with the gasoline to get in front of each other, or the scene with the people dropping the bombs over, or when the best one in my opinion is like that whole sequence with Immort and Joe chasing them and the wife like opens the door and then when she slips off and stuff, like that's some crazy good storytelling through action, which is the best type of action.
Yeah, I really like when they came through. Oh my god, I wanted to talk about the blueness, like that blue at nighttime, I guess. I think Michael, you said something about it in the beginning, but like just the contrast from the orange to the blue, it almost looks like they shot in black and white and then changed like the white to blue. And
like it's toned like old film, like black and white, like
yeah, it looks like black and white, but it's blue. It's tinted
like,
blue. So sick.
whoa.
But then there's like gunshots that are like orange. I'm like, whoa, that's not just like a filter. I don't know how they did that, but it looks so awesome.
It reminded me of like an infrared camera or something. Where
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Blue, where it's like just, I guess like maybe the temperature was like colder, and then the gunshots it came up with that red like orange.
I got a lot of like, this is gonna sound really weird, but like Guardians of the Galaxy vibes from it, just because it feels like it's in like the future, and like it is, but they have like all this like weird like crazy technology, and I think they were like personally I thought they were like shot similarly, but
Speaking of black and white, there's actually a black and white version of this movie available called the Black and Chrome Edition.
I saw that on Movies Anywhere.
Yeah, I turned off the color on my projector once to watch it in black and white. It looks so beautiful in black and white.
That's really cool, actually.
It is very cool. George Miller actually said that's what he wishes it could be in black and white, even though I still prefer the color. But it's a neat viewing experience that I'd recommend.
Wow,
that's really cool. I mean, yes, in its own way, honestly, I can see that how it'd be good because I think in a way, like what Brennan's saying, it's almost like you're kind of already watching it in black and white because of such an intense wash of like one single color, you know, whether that be the orange or blue.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know what the heck my Wi-Fi right now. Dude, can you guys hear me or no?
I'm surprised mine's not bugged out yet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You're good. You're good.
Okay, cool.
It was
You
just
guys
a
are
second robo.
you guys are completely still, but oh well.
Shit.
There we go. Now it's good. It's good. Of course, I'm the
Yo.
computer's the one recording. Like what? Oh my gosh.
All I'm saying is in like 3 weeks, be able to meet up and do some real podcasting, sort of, maybe.
I'm here for it.
In 3 weeks, I say that we can maybe, if it's just us and I sanitize all the seats in my basement, might be able to get some movie night going. But we'll make sure it's fully safe because
Dude,
I
I'm
don't
getting,
want to mess with any of those coronas.
I'm getting chills.
Godfather pasta night. Or the other ones. There was the like visual orgasm.
Oh yeah.
Yo, what are we talking about?
All right.
Oh, I just heard orgasm, Sandlot, and pasta.
Yeah. Godfather pasta.
Orgasm, Sandlot, and pasta. That's, you know what? That's next short film.
Yep.
Sandlot and pasta. That should be crazy.
You need to cast Brad Pitt.
Yo, if we could cast Brad Pitt, shit. I'd have to adapt my NYU Brad Pitt story.
Yeah.
Cast Brad Pitt.
Yo, congrats. I'm going to give a shout out to Aiden Bova on that NYU.
Wait, Boba's transferring to NYU?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he is.
Wow. That's huge, man. Dang, Aiden.
Where did he go before?
Vassar. Upstate New York, Poughkeepsie.
Wow.
He was not a fan. Let's just say that.
He what?
He was not a fan.
Oh, wow.
Dang.
Did he just not get accepted to NYU? Or did he just think that he couldn't afford it?
Yeah, waitlisted the first time and then didn't get in and then transfer, which doesn't make any sense because transfer rates are like ridiculously low. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Wow.
transfer's crazy. It's too tough.
Wait, so Boba and Moo.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, it's Yoni Bova.
Oh!
Yoni first. Speaking
I'm
of
just
Yoni, we gotta get Yoni of the cast.
let's do it. Let's.
Only if we talk about Captain
Um,
Gorlan.
Bring back to Mad Max Fury Road. There's some moments in the music that are quite spectacular, to say the least. Just the whole theme in the beginning. I'm like, what the? Like, going back to the opening scene, like when I was sitting in theaters watching it for the first time, like I saw the trailer and I'm like, oh, that looks like a fun action movie as a action aficionado. And sitting in the theater, I'm just there, and all these like crazy shots of trees are happening. I'm like, ooh, interesting. And then it opens with that shot, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then he just starts driving the car. I'm like, holy shit! And they do the crazy stunt with the car flipping over. I'm like, all right, so it's already the best action movie of the decade. Let's
They
keep
do
going.
the like explosion with that like archway, and they blew it up and it all like caved in and stuff. Yeah, that's nuts.
I was watching the featurette, and that like whole final crash, you know, when he like turns the car and he's like witness.
Yeah.
Like that whole shit was all like real.
Wow.
They flipped that car over at the stunt, and they were like, let's go when they got it. It's insane.
Try.
I hope so.
Oh yeah.
Have you guys seen? Oh wait, what move?
Now, what was that?
I was gonna say, like, do you know if there's any good behind the scenes stuff of their shooting?
do.
I want to see that. Like,
Good stuff.
Mhm.
How did they get those really wide like like all the cars are going off into the distance. You can see like where they're heading in the background. They're like really high. They looked like they were just on like a huge like crane or something.
Yeah.
And like there was a really sick drone shot, I think, or it was a copter. I couldn't tell, but it like soared over this mountain, and it was freaking nuts.
Helicopter.
I also dig the shot. I think they did it multiple times, but it'll like start really high and then end under like underneath a car, and a car will just go over top of it. I'm like, what the frick? How do they even like do that crap?
I wanted to touch upon some of the characters. For one, I wanted to bring up something that Elizabeth Banks, director of Charlie's Angels, said. So when Charlie's Angels, Elizabeth Banks' remake of Charlie's Angels, first of all, the original's ass also, but she remakes Charlie's Angels. Based on the trailers, they look so bland. The action scenes look terrible. The movie just looks like a time that I do not want to be spending in the theaters. And Elizabeth Banks at first was like, this is a movie made for women. And then when the movie completely bombed at the box office, she's like, men just don't want to see movies led by women or whatever. And I'm like, no. Because if you see a movie like Mad Max Fury Road, most of the action is happening with the women kicking ass. And this movie is absolutely brilliant. And we gave it money at the box office as it did very successfully. There's a difference between making a shitty movie and a good movie, Elizabeth Banks.
Yeah, and it's not even really Max's story. Like the story's about Furiosa. He's more just like a vessel. Like he's a supporting role.
Exactly.
And,
He's there.
Because it's fun, Jan.
And also, I actually really liked the Nux character.
Dude, I love Nux.
I think his arc is really, really strong.
Yeah.
It reminds me like a good version of how they could have executed the arc in Star Wars Episode 7 for Finn. It reminds me of like that whole idea of someone being brainwashed into the bad guys, like this cult. But like this one, there's so much more of that like drastic change in the sense that you could tell Nux really wanted to satisfy Morton Joe, and his like whole life depended on it. And when he completely failed and found some solace in the one chick, it's like it's a very powerful arc. And his whole last scene is beautiful when he flips the car. It's like, wow, that's a masterful scene.
Yeah, it's really crazy, like seeing the shift, because like you see the devotion he has at the beginning, and then it's like even it almost like just like the that group, like the female characters, and then with Max, like how it's almost like the trust at first. It's like we can't really trust him, but he's like, nah, like it's okay, and he's like, I know how to drive it too, and it's amazing, like seeing also just like the power shift with the guns too is pretty crazy. I've like obviously like it's just like it's pretty like basic thing, but like even just noticing this in movies, like it's crazy how much a gun, like whoever has the gun, it's like the power in that, like even if they're not going to shoot, like you just see it happen so many times, like when he grabs even at first when Max is like fighting with that girl and he like grabs the gun off of like her war thing, it just like all shifts. But it's neat seeing that kind of happen, like that physical like object of like I have power right now, and then eventually it just kind of all fades out, and then but I thought it was especially powerful when he suggests like the whole tree idea with like using the winch, like that for me, I remember being like, wow, like this guy's like bringing some crazy insight into what you never thought he would, like you thought he'd be against before. So that was really cool.
It's crazy how much power and symbolism one like prop can have, and I think they use the steering wheels to symbolize like power a lot, because it's like whoever has like the, I guess, ability to drive one of those tanks has power. And you could always tell like after he just went into like the dust and like beat the crap out of those guys and came back with blood all over his head, and she's like, oh, that's not his blood, that's someone else's, and then he hands over like the steering wheel. I'm like, wow, it's crazy how like a steering wheel can symbolize such power.
Yeah. And in the same scene, going back to what Mike was saying about the guns, it's a great moment when Max has just missed like a few shots, and you see like he's not being the hero, he gives the gun over to Furiosa instead. It was great.
Yeah. Lots. Oh my gosh. Like, there's people that complain that this movie doesn't have a story, but like, there's so much story being told through the action, which good action scenes do. It uses the stakes of the scene to tell a story versus the prequels of Star Wars, where it's just a dance. Like, there's so much stakes involved. You can really feel the story beats through the action, and it's truly a feat in action filmmaking. Like, I can try going to find a best scene, but just thinking of the whole movie, it's like one perfect scene.
Yeah, true.
So
Um,
chaotic yet structured. Like
mhm.
almost like underneath, you can see like a clean skeleton, like you're saying with the story beats, but like on top, it's just like such a mess. But like you still get that, but like it's got all the flesh being ripped apart on top. Like,
It's
yeah.
oh my gosh. There's shots that I still remember. This is probably my 5th or 6th time watching the movie, and there's still moments that have my jaw dropped at like when he's swinging over and you see that huge explosion and
Yeah.
the motorcycle people jumping and dropping the bombs. I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't. This is the best action movie of the decade. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Y'all have a favorite moment, or do we want to have anything else to add?
Hmm.
I'll just reiterate that the beginning, like that first 5 or 10 minutes, absolutely insane.
Mhm.
Part, hands down.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Even with like the tattooing idea too, they're trying to like, get him in there, and then and then finally once he sees the branding thing, it's like it was just like he's like no, and then just like rips out of that whole thing, and the chase starts.
Yeah, I really like how, yeah, especially with the tattooing idea and how they're like, oh, he's a universal donor and blah blah blah, and then they like stick the needles in their arms and really like close up like Pulp Fiction style like freaking crazy blood crap, and I got really queasy when that happened.
Yes.
So, and I like when I have to like turn my head away from the screen because I'm like, wow, that's powerful. So
Mhm.
All right. Ratings. Let's go around.
I don't even know what to rate this crap.
Yeah.
Mason, would you like to start?
Oh, so I gotta say it's time to drop a 10.0 on this movie. I
Wow.
nothing wrong with it, dude. I was overjoyed to hear that this was going to be the movie for this week. Like,
Hey.
time it's just over instantly. Like, I get so into this movie, and it's so inspirational because I don't know if you've seen, but like they have what they said were like 80% of the shots came from these very elaborate storyboards, and it's like covering the walls, like, and just the amount of time that was put into this movie, and just thinking about it, as we've said, how did all of this get pulled off? And the conditions were hell. Everyone, you can't see the finished product until the end, and so you're being motivated just by the hope that you could achieve something like this, and just the fact that it all culminated. And we really have no idea of all the hard work that went in, but it's just so worthwhile in the end. And I think it's really inspirational, and I think it's a technical masterpiece. The performances are phenomenal, and I love this movie.
Yeah, you can really see like Mason was saying, the dedication and all the time and effort that was put into it, and it sucks that they can't see that in the moment, but that cast and crew were fired up the whole time to just put something out there, and there's a lot of planning that went into it, and I appreciate that a lot. And again, this wasn't like a movie that I've seen before necessarily, and I think it was structured very differently, and I really enjoyed it. That's why I'm going to give it a 9.4.
Yo, the .4s are back.
Nice.
Beautiful. Cross McGarrahan.
So yeah, this movie, like Moo was saying, one of the best action on screen, period. And I know Moo and Mason, you were also mentioning last week, like, said there's a fourth movie of the series coming out. Everyone's kind of like, oh, it's probably gonna be trash, but it's very fantastic, and that's why I'm gonna give this a 9.44.
Ooh, nice. All right. Well, I love what you said about the movie. I think that completely sums up like how I was feeling with it too. And yeah, I think it's an absolute like insane feat, like physically, like with technically and just with like everything in it. But I think I'm gonna give it a 9.5. That's kind of where I'm feeling at it. So yeah, there you go.
So if I were to find any flaw with this movie, I think some of the lines of dialogue are a bit meh with the one blonde chick or whatever. Regardless of that, this movie is, as a Letterboxd review stated, it's a miracle. This movie should not exist, yet we have been given this fucking present of pure action bliss. It's the best action movie of the last decade. In 5 years alone, it's already a classic in my opinion. And fuck it, this is my ratings. I don't care if a flaw exists because it's a 10 out of 10. I could not care less if the dialogues met at a moment because it is truly action heaven. It's the best action movie of the last decade. No action movie even comes close to it, in my opinion. And it actually, in my opinion, revolutionized the action genre. This and John Wick both got us away from shaky cam, and now more action filmmakers are a bit more steady with their hands. And in that case, it's a masterpiece. It's one of the best movies ever made.
Wow, that's awesome.
Now y'all want to know what next week's recommendation is.
Oh yeah,
That we do.
So this is a movie I have not seen, but I wanted to put it for one. It leaves Amazon Prime May 30th, and I needed some motivation to watch it because I've heard this movie is fucking terrifying. So we are going to watch The Descent.
Oh, thank you so much. I've always wanted to see this movie. Let's go.
I've heard it is ridiculously scary, and I needed something to force me to watch it without pussying out before July 1st or May 30th. So
I don't get to watch a lot of like horror movies, so I'm excited.
yeah, I've heard it's quite the horrifying movie, and I'm very excited to watch it. And we'll talk about it July 1st. Or not July 1st. We'll talk about it whenever the fuck we have
yeah.
our
Whenever
next.
we yeah. Oh, but you said it comes off on the 30th, right?
30th.
Okay, I got it.
Get on that shit ASAP.
Nice.
Oh man, I'm very excited. It looks horrifying in the best way possible. All right, and like that. Damn.